And now we go to him, I believe. Yes, we do have him. It is Clark Gillies. Good morning, Clark.
Good morning, fellas. How we doing?
Well, we just watched, at first, I'm sure the younger generation might have thought it was Braveheart on skates, but it actually was not. It was actually a portion of your career, and I got to tell you, we sitting back, enjoying watching some of them, but I'd suggest if you're fighting Ben Wilson, I don't know necessarily how enjoyable that was, but it was part of what you did, and it's a part of your history, Clark.
Yeah, there were a couple of fights with Ben. One was in New York, and Ben kind of proclaimed himself the champ. And it took a couple of years, but we finally had a rematch back in Chicago. And even though I ended up on the bottom at the end, I think Ben would clearly say that I won that one.
Sorry, Clark, looking at, those kinds of scenarios and what you had to do, does that mean necessarily in sort of people, I don't think who play the game a whole bunch, sort of categorize that as the likes to fight guy? And I don't think necessarily the more that we learn about the roles of enforcers, even talking to a George Laraque, for instance, I don't think that necessarily is something that's ingrained like organically in your personality. I think it's just a role that you find in the game of hockey. I don't think you necessarily were walking onto the street and looking for a fight. I just don't believe that's part of your DNA, quite frankly.
No, it's I can be honest with you. I've never, well, other than certainly growing up in the playground, been in a fight off the ice. Since I turned, let's put it this way, since I turned professional, I've never had a fight off the ice. It's just something that you kind of learn. You grow up in Saskatchewan, and you play against the likes of Tiger Williams and a few other people. You tend to have to defend yourself once in a while, and you learn. I mean, I was a big kid. I used fighting as one of my tools. But you're right. I never really enjoyed it that much. There were, I think, out of the 50 or 60 fights that I had, maybe a handful of them I really enjoyed. But for the most part, it was what I did. I've used it as a tool to protect my teammates. And if somebody gave me a cheap shot, naturally they had to pay for it. So it was mostly, playing with Bossy and Trottier for the better part of my career. I was out there and I didn't want anybody to take any liberties with them, and it seemed to work for the most part.
What? We just become best friends? Yep.